Nakisa Hanelly's interface has a few main elements that consistently appear throughout the application. The first of these is the banner menu, which is the blue header section right here at the very top. The first button from the left opens the main menu. And next to it, we have the home button, which would bring you back to your home page. And directly to its right, we have the toggle pane mode button. Clicking on this switches between a single and two pane interface, as you can see, which comes in really handy in certain situations that I'll get into later. Then we have the search bar, and the last icon here opens the notification center. Some of the pages in the application will also have a toolbar of buttons specific to that page. So for example, if I go into my org chart by clicking on one of the perspectives here, you'll notice a series of icons near the top. These are action icons, and together they form the page's toolbar. I'll get into each of these specific icons in the capsule on org charts, but for now, just remember that you can hover over them on any page's toolbar, and a caption will appear to tell you what it's for. And actually, you can do that for almost every type of button in the application. So I'll be covering org charts in depth in another capsule, but I want to quickly go over org chart nodes with you, because they have their own interface and menus. So what are nodes? Nodes are objects within your org chart used to represent different elements of your organization. In Nakisa Hanelly, there are 3 different types of nodes available out of the box, but the ones you'll see in your org chart depend on your application's configuration and how your organization chooses to represent its structure. So by default, these 3 different nodes come in 3 different colors. Purple nodes are for employees, orange nodes are for positions, and blue nodes represent organizational units. Clicking on the colored bar on the left end of the nodes box will open the node menu, which allows you to perform actions related to the specific node you clicked on. Nodes might also have little buttons on the top or bottom of them. The little gray arrow that you might see on the top of the node is the root up or root at button, and clicking on it will toggle between making this node the root of your org chart, showing you all the nodes below it, or moving a level up to view the nodes a level above it. The buttons that you'll find on the bottom of a node are the expand and collapse buttons for the object types that correspond to the button's color. So clicking on the orange expand button will expand all the position nodes below this one, or collapse them if I click on it again. And doing the same for the purple expand button will show me the employee nodes under the position node over here. And I can collapse them as well. So there are a few more interface items that I want to show to you. When you're in your org chart, you may notice a little question mark button on the bottom right over here. Clicking on it will bring up the org chart legend, which shows you what every icon and color means in the application, but you'll only see it if it's been enabled by your administrator. Also, you'll notice a little handle here on the right side of the screen. This handle appears on many pages, and if I click on it, a panel pops out. Whether this handle is visible to you depends on your user role within the application, and what you see on it won't always be the same. So for example, from within my org chart, the panel contains display options. But if I go into the details panel for a position by clicking on one of the nodes, the same panel allows me to quickly jump ahead to a section of the page. The solution allows you to see and manipulate your data in a variety of ways, such as through tabs and panes. You'll notice that as I navigate to different areas in the application, some of them open up in new tabs, which are all shown right here under the banner. Tabs allow you to have multiple pages open at once within the application, but as soon as you open a new tab of the same kind as one that is already open, it will replace the original one. So let's say, for example, from my org chart, I click on a node to open the details panel for a position. It opens up in a new tab. And now I go back to my org chart and click on another position node. As you can see, the second details panel opened up in the tab that I already had open for the other one. You may not want this to happen if you're trying to have multiple pages of the same kind open at the same time. So to avoid this, I'll show you how to pin your tabs. On the left end of each tab, you'll notice a little pin icon. Clicking on this secures your tab in place. So for example, you could open multiple details panels of different employees at the same time, as I'm doing here. Once you're done with your pinned tab, you can simply close it by clicking on the X, or right-clicking on the tab and clicking on Close. And while we're here, you can see that right-clicking on a tab actually gives you a lot of options. So you could pin or duplicate your tab, close some of them, or hide some of them. So one more thing about tabs. Those that have a royal blue color are associated to your source data, such as your source org chart, dashboards, and sunburst charts. And the ones associated to subsequent scenarios that you create will have their own color. The color coding of tabs comes in really handy when you're dealing with scenarios, but I'll cover this in another capsule. The other thing I want to show you gives you another way to view and interact with your data. If you remember, I pointed to the toggle pane mode button up here on the banner menu in an earlier section, but didn't click on it because I wanted to show you how to use it here with tabs. So by default, the application shows me my pages in a single pane mode, and all the tabs appear here at the top with only one of them being open at a time. But if I toggle to a two-pane mode by clicking on the toggle pane mode button in the banner menu, a second blank pane appears, and I can drag any tab into this to view two pages side by side. So this is really useful for anything you might need to do regarding comparison and analysis. So let's say I have my org chart here, and I open a Positions Details panel. It opens in my second pane, but I want to view another Positions Details panel at the same time. If I just click on it in my org chart, it'll replace the one I already have open. So I'll pin the one I have here by clicking on the pin icon. And when I open a second one, it opens as a new tab. And I can just drag that tab over to my other pane to have two details panels open side by side. And I can also resize the panes if I need to by dragging the divider. A lot can be done in the application with these two features combined, so make sure you know how to use them.